Speaking of rockers,
yeah,
we've
baby.
got Kiss rocker Paul Stanley. He's going to join the company. We're going to talk to him about money, taxes, and, of course, rock and roll. We might even ask him about Carol Channing.
Yeah, I bet he knows.
Our next guest, well, he wants to rock and roll all night and party every day, but in addition to being a member of the rock band Kiss, he's also made millions selling artwork, and he made sure to share his success with some of our wounded troops this year. Rock legend Paul Stanley joins us now. I got to tell you, Paul, there has not been this much excitement over any guest in the history of this show.
Well, I think I might wind up disappointing you, but Charles, you've been all over Fox during this holiday season. You basically own Fox right now.
Well, thank you very much. I'm called cheap labor. No. Actually, I'm glad you've been watching.
You're
We really
hired.
appreciate it. Let's talk about a lot of things. One thing we always focus on when we have celebrities here is the idea that in America, anybody can make it. I think you exemplify this. You don't come from money, yet you have made it through mostly hard work and determination.
I think I come from a philosophy, I call it the assumption of commonality. I tend to think instead of trying to second guess what the public needs, if you can identify in yourself what your needs and desires are, you can maximize and you build on that. With KISS, for example, that's 35 years, 85 million albums sold, 3,000 licenses. What we basically wanted to do was become the band we never saw. In other words, as fans of rock and roll, we figured, why not be the band that we needed to see? And figuring that we're not that much different than the public, it'll fulfill that need. And we were right.
Paul, what's going on with your industry? Over the last week, we talked about concert promoters lowering ticket prices, attendance during this past year down at so many concerts, and it seems like the bands that are making it work are you guys, the Stones, AC/DC, Bon Jovi, bands that have been around for a long time. When you guys finally retire, what's going to happen with the industry?
I don't know, but I think it just goes back to the fact that people are still willing to pay for something that's reliable, that's quality. It's no different than the cars you're willing to pay for. You don't pay the same price for a Chevrolet that you do for a Rolls-Royce. And the bands that are still doing surprisingly well are the ones who've established a track record of great shows. We just came off the biggest, most successful stadium and arena tour we've done to date. Now, again, that's 35 years later. Why are people still coming to see us? Because in times of, I guess, tight money and a recession, people need entertainment, and I'm here to entertain.
And entertain you did. And part of the excitement on this panel is me, because I'm a huge fan, and I've told everyone that we dressed, my brother and cousin and I dressed up as you and the band for Halloween. He was Paul Stanley, I was Ace Frehley. I followed you all these years. How did the art work in? Did you, in the back of your mind, think I need a backup, or was it just fulfilling a need that you had to get it out there?
Well, interesting. I didn't need another job, but I really wanted something where I could let off steam, something cathartic where I might be able to find another means of expressing myself. I tend to define myself by the challenges I take on and how well I do at them. So it really was a side, I wouldn't even call it a project. It was a way of diverging from what I do normally. I started painting with the idea of basically putting texture and color onto canvas and trying to come into contact with whatever was going on inside me. When I hung one in the house, people started coming over and saying, who painted that? So very early on, I realized that there was a market for it and did a show and did surprisingly well. So again, it really wasn't about trying to give the public anything they wanted, but more or less trying to please myself. And by doing that, if I stay true to what I'm doing, then I figure there are enough people out there who will identify with what I do. So we're multiple seven figures into this art career, so I will never be the starving artist. So if, if credibility is based on starving, I'll have to miss that one.
Paul, you've achieved great success with your music career and certainly now your art career, but you've done a very good job of also helping other people, contributing to the Wounded Warriors cause. Talk to me about some of the philanthropy and why that's so important to you.
Well, you know, it may be oversaid all the time and may sound like a soundbite, but we do need to give back. You know, us who have been lucky enough to succeed need to remember those who haven't, or the people, in the case of the Wounded Warrior Care Project, you have these brave men and women who really, to me, are the heroes of the 21st century. These people volunteer. In essence, they write a blank check saying, I may not come back, I may sacrifice my life, I may sacrifice limbs, and that's for this great country, to protect this great country and everything it stands for. So when those people come back here, they deserve not only a hero's welcome, but any rehabilitation and anything they need to find their way back into society.
Paul?
So we donated $1 from every ticket on this previous tour and gave $500,000 to the Wounded Warrior Care Project out of Augusta, Georgia, which is really the model that all of these rehabilitation centers should be.
Paul, we talk often here about the role of government in things like this. Do you think the government is overreaching, overtaxing us, and too much of an influence in our lives right now?
Well, you know, I think that it's unfair for somebody in a celebrity position to stand on a soapbox and make believe that they're an expert. But certainly as a person on the street, I think that the less government is involved with us, the more we have the incentive to achieve. You know, the idea of taxing the wealthy at a higher bracket, you know, you don't penalize success, you have to incentivize. So with that in mind, I think that people will stand up and do what's necessary to take care of those people who are not being taken care of. And sometimes, as much as the government may think they're doing a good job, we need to step up and dig into our pockets and make sure that job is done.
Before I let you go, a quote I read from you recently: the harder you work, the luckier you get, and you can either be a victim in life or surrender to failure and bitch about all your adverse experiences, or you can take it all down and just move forward. We're going to have to leave it here, but when I read that, I just thought that is the essence of the American dream. You've lived it, you proved it. That's why you're very successful, and we really want to thank you for your time today. By the way, I love your, I think that was Robert Johnson in that painting. That was my favorite.
It was indeed, and God bless America. You know,
Thank you.
I am the American dream come true.
You are. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Continued success and luck, and if you bump into Tracy, you better give her a hug, because she's going to be stalking you.
I will.
All righty. Well, of course, Paul Stanley definitely made our highlight reel, but find out who else made it next.